Welcome to Gamer Girl ASMR episode 3. So, one thing that I need to point out right now is that for you, this has been a week, because I want this to be like a weekly podcast. I have decided there's gonna be an episode every week, and this is pre-recorded way in advance. This is for you in like 2 weeks from the time of recording this, because I'm recording this like right after I recorded the last episode, basically. So, episode 3, because I was like, hey, I'm in a really good mind space to just record Gamer Girl ASMR. I'm in a really good mind space to record this, right? Even though I can't be like as calm as I would be if I'm sober, I'm like right halfway into like a drinking session, right? I'm like right in the midpoint of a drinking session. And so the Gamer Girl ASMR, like, I mean, not in the midpoint of like a drinking session, but like a drink in a drinking session, right? So I'm like halfway through this like rum and coke right now. So I wanna talk about how people have like this like really before I get on a tangent, I know this is a show about tangents, but before I get into the tangent, I just have to explain everything. But yeah, right now I really want to record more Gamer Girl ASMR, and having a backlog is the most certain way to make sure that they come out on a weekly basis, right? Because it might just be like some week, like 2 weeks in a row, I decide like, hey, I'm not really feeling like this podcast on any days, I just don't record this. And if I want this to be like a regular thing, I have to record this like way in ahead, not way in ahead, way in advance, right? So I can just like have a backlog, and if I'm really committed to making this into a weekly thing. So that's why this is pre-recorded, and that's why this isn't like that much variety. But if you liked the last episode, I hope you like this episode too, because it's basically the same thing, except on just like a slightly different level of like drunkenness. But yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. People have a really weird reaction to hard liquor. Like even in Russia, like you can like this is like a really weird law, but like you can drink like beer and wine when you're like 14, but you can't drink hard liquor until you're like 18 or something. Some fucking weird shit like that. And I think it's the same in like France or something. It's just so weird for me, because it's like, why is hard liquor in like a distinct category? Like, why do people think like, oh, it's scary, it's like hard liquor, like beer and wine? That's not scary. That's just like that's not hard liquor. That's just like fermented drinks, right? You have to drink a lot of them to get really drunk, right? So that's not scary. With hard liquor, you only need to drink a bit to get drunk. But like they're completely ignoring the fact that if you drink hard liquor straight, it kind of hurts, right? So you don't really want to drink a lot of hard liquor, right? Or if you want to drink hard liquor and you want to have like a drinking session, you're gonna drink cocktails, right? Like I'm drinking rum and coke right now. So even though, yeah, it's hard liquor technically, it's just like wine with better flavor, because it has like the same alcohol content that wine would have. Because I have like a really, really big ratio of coke to rum, because I want to taste the rum, right? I want to have the taste of the rum in this rum and coke. But I also want to like have like a nice soft drink, right? I want to have a drink that tastes really good, and I really like drinking, right? So I just have this rum and coke. It has the same alcohol content as wine. It's the same basic drink, right? Like alcohol content wise, it's just ethanol with flavoring ingredients. Except I just prefer these flavors. These are just better flavors. Now if I was drinking like straight brandy or straight whiskey from like a bottle, just pouring myself glass after glass after glass, and you'd be like, hey, chill down, that's not like beer, you can't just drink it like that. That's fair, because spirits need to be respected. If you're drinking, you need to respect the spirits, right? Like I know soft liquor is like less dangerous because it's easier to respect it, right? Like, oh hey, I'm gonna just enjoy the taste of this wine, I'm gonna enjoy the taste of this beer or whatever, if you're like fucking insane. Like you can just be like, oh, I'm gonna treat this as like a special occasion thing. Well, with hard liquor, it's like, oh, it runs the risk of not being a special occasion and just being like, oh, a drug that gets you like really, really fucked up really fast, right? Like, so you have to respect the spirits. That's very, as long as you respect the spirits, it's good though. It's just liquor. It's just alcohol. It's like, I don't get why people are like so scared of hard liquor. Maybe they just don't respect the spirits. Maybe they have a hard time with respecting the spirits. But for me, it's super easy to respect them, because I have like experienced the consequences that happen when I don't respect spirits. So I'm gonna respect the spirits. Now another thing is, because I'm both young and I have alcoholic genes, I don't get hangovers. Like I literally have never experienced a hangover. Even when I get so drunk they just like throw up, I don't get a hangover. Like I've gotten one hangover, maybe, but I think that was just me getting sick. Like, there's only been like one time when I like go to sleep after drinking and wake up feeling like shit. I think that was probably because I was sick. And for me, that's also like extends like coming down from alcohol, right? It's not like a painful experience unless I drank like energy drinks and alcohol at the same time. Then the coming down is kind of a really shitty experience. Unless I do that, I don't really have a problem coming down. It's just like, oh, this is kind of like annoying, right? I don't like having to go through the process of my body like cleaning itself of poison, right? This is not really a pleasant thing to go through. The coming down process isn't really bad for me too. It's like completely bearable. So the next thing I want to talk about are private servers in games, right? I think private servers should be the default for every fucking game, because how many times have you seen developers be like, hey, I'm just gonna fuck the game up, right? I think private servers should be legal, promoted, and allowed, because I think private servers would just make the experience better if like people who knew how to run a server would run them. Because like the idea would be to be like, we're just like serving as like a filter for updates, right? So like we have like this like main server, which is like the developer build, but then we could have like these private servers that just have like the same game except a different update structure, right? Like in old school RuneScape, right, there was the Sins of the Father quest, and it introduced like a new woodcutting method that wasn't good but it was decent, and it introduced like a new agility method that was like really effort intensive and still not the best XP in the game, right? But they were like, okay, so instead of having like these new methods that were like fun for people that people enjoyed, but like they're like kinda decent, so we're just gonna have to get rid of them because they're just somewhat decent, right? It's like, oh, it's like unpulled, right? We need to pull everything. That's not how it works though. It's like this kind of thing doesn't need pulls. No one was complaining about this, right? Everyone was just like, oh hey, these are just like fun activities that we are enjoying, right? We're playing the game and enjoying these activities, right? And they were like, oh no, we have to ban them, we have to get rid of them. So if there were like decent private servers, the only difference that they would have done is not ban these activities, right? So they would have had like, okay, we're just gonna make the game the exact same, except we're just gonna have this activity still in the game. And if the developers had like this competition, they would not make bad changes to the game, right? They would have to make sure that the changes they make to the game are good for the game. And if you have ever fucking played a card game, right, you have experienced this, where fucking people refuse to make good bans, people refuse to make like good card changes in like digital card games, right? And so, the card game companies just keep ruining their own games. They don't like ban things that are problems, they ban things that aren't problems that people just quote unquote find and fun, because you're fucking zoomers who have no taste in like what actual card games are supposed to be like. Like, card games are supposed to be control versus combo. Watch the fucking Necropotence games, they're like the best magic, and if you disagree then you're a cock. Necropotence was good, actually. The hot take. But yeah, anyway, like, just the fact that like fucking zoomer mid-range taste dominates card games is enough for me to be like, we need private servers. Everything needs to have private servers. Every game needs to fucking have private servers. Look at Minecraft, right? If Minecraft only had servers that were like, oh hey, this is like the official sanctioned server, like official sanctioned activities, the game wouldn't be as fun. There wouldn't be like Hypixel, Skyblock, or Winecraft, or whatever the fuck people are playing, right? Like completely new game modes within the game. Like, but like every game is to some extent Minecraft if it's multiplayer, right? Because multiplayer games have to have like some degree of customization, right? Of like having your identity be separate from everyone else playing it, right? And if that identity is like changed out of existence by the developers, you should have an ability to just escape the private server that might have worse ping, might not have as good of an infrastructure, right? Might cost more money even to be in, but otherwise functions exactly the same as the base game, except it's just better, right? Like, what change would I make to old school RuneScape, right, personally? Like, if I wanted to make my perfect private server, well, I know there's like some things I would tweak personally, like, I would make like, oh, this is a fucking Reddit opinion, I know, this doesn't reflect like an actual balanced view of the game, but because this just reflects my personal bias, but like, I would like make a shit ton of quality of life changes to runecrafting, right? I would make it so that you can like easily like fucking craft runes within bags and then they just pop out. You don't have to click the bags. That would be such a fucking massive change. You didn't fucking have to click on the bags to get the runes. I would make it so you can fucking just craft combination runes. You can just go to an altar and just craft a combination rune. You don't need to fuck around with like fucking spells and shit. You can just fucking craft one. You don't need to fucking do anything else. Just click like a fucking an earth rune on a fire altar, and you can get a fucking lava rune. That's it. Oh, it wouldn't be a good money making fucking method that way. It doesn't fucking matter. It's fucking rune crafting. It should be like more fun. You're fucking just a neckbeard who just has too much time invested in the game. I mean, I would also like a server where like XP rates were like 5 times higher, like just across the board overall, because I think that would be more fun. Like, maybe there wouldn't be higher at first, but like the higher level you get in a skill, you get like a multiplier in XP rates, right? Maybe you start out with like times 1 XP rate. Then when you get to like level 20, you get times 2 XP, just a massive boost, right? When you get to level 40, you get times 3 XP. When you get to level 60, you get times 4 XP. Then when you get level 80 in a skill, you get times 5 XP. That would be fun. That would like balance out the leveling, right? It would make the game more balanced. Or maybe just make a formula to make leveling into like a more linear process instead of like a complete exponential one. That might also be fun. You could do like a lot of these things. You could do just a ton with the game if private servers weren't just like a way to like have people who are willing to do illegal things make money via scummy methods, right? Because that's all private servers are right now. It's like, hey, do you want to be OP and pay for our fucking loot boxes? Okay, join a private server, right? It isn't like there's no art to private servers. But I think there should be art to private servers. Like fucking World of Warcraft private servers that like lets you play where you could play classic WoW. That was good. The only issue was that the people running them were fucking scumbags, because only scumbags go against like are willing to like risk their like fucking life to make money, because like people with like a decent moral compass would rather make their original thing, right? Because they don't want to make their art contingent upon copyright infringement, because that's just risky, right? So only people who are willing to take that risk are going to make these things, and the people willing to take that risk are the people who have like an enhanced way to profit from it. They're not people who just want to make the game better, right? So yeah, I think private servers should be nerfed. I think every game needs to have private servers. Like every fucking shooter, right? I don't play shooters myself, but I've heard from a lot of people that like, hey, all of these fucking shooters having like matchmaking is shit. I want to have like shooter servers again, because that used to be a good thing. Every shooter used to have fucking private servers, basically. You know, Team Fortress 2 still fucking has. And that's just, to me, that's like pretty obvious that would be the best way for shooters to work, right? So yeah, everything should have private servers. Private servers are fucking great, and I wish they were a fucking art form, but fuck copyright for not letting us have anything good. I fucking want a world of private servers. I want millions of private servers for fucking thousands of games. I just want to play in private servers, man. I just want to play in good private servers, but there aren't any. So I completely forgot to talk about this earlier, but let's discuss what I'm playing right now, because I have basically settled that I want this podcast to be over Super Meatboy footage, just to flex my Super Meatboy skills. So let's talk about my favorite games. Okay, that's a complete segue, but I just remembered that Super Meatboy was one of my favorite games. So, Super Meatboy, obviously, one of my favorite games. I really fucking love this game. It just feels great to play. The controls are great, the movement is great, the level design is absolutely phenomenal. Like, one of the first levels in Super Meatboy like introduces like a way that you can like play the game with branching paths, because that's like a lot of fun of Super Meatboy, because you get to discover like alternative ways to beat levels, right? So one of the first levels has this like saw with a bandage over it, or no, so maybe just like a ledge. Basically, you can easily see on the map like, hey, I can go 2 ways. I can go straight to the bandage, or I can go straight to the end, right? And if you choose, hey, I'm gonna go straight to the bandage, right, you're gonna discover, hey, this is actually faster. I can get to the end faster if I just pay attention to the levels. So that's like a lot of the fun in Super Meatboy, just figuring out the best way to do each level, because it's like a tempo game, like a rhythm game, where you just have to like find the right tempo, and then that's like how you get through like a lot of levels. So you just have to figure out the best path and the right tempo, and you basically can get through a level. It's a really fun game. I really like the design, I really like the movement, I really like the mechanics, even like the fan mechanics and the light bulb mechanics. I know they aren't fun when you just start playing the game, and if you just do like a light world playthrough, they're never going to be fun. But once you get like actually good at the game, and once you can like actually like do the like dark levels like consistently, you can like play the entire game consistently, they actually become kind of fun. So even though the only actual real problem I have with the game are the boss levels, because they always fucking suck. Fuck the boss levels in Super Meat Boy. But like other than that, I don't really have any problems with the game. But now here's my all-time favorite game, which is Bloodborne. I like it because Dark Souls is too slow for me to play Dark Souls. So Bloodborne is just fast. So I like Bloodborne because it's fast. And I can just go fast and play Bloodborne. That's just it. That's the entire reason why I like Bloodborne. So what's some other stuff I like? Oh yeah, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is my second favorite game of all time. Super Meat Boy is my third, because Hollow Knight is just perfect. Except it's not as good as Bloodborne because its aesthetic is less strong. Basically, Bloodborne only wins out on Hollow Knight on aesthetic. If it wasn't about the aesthetic, I would think that these two games are equal. But given that Bloodborne just wins out so strongly on aesthetic for me personally, I just like Bloodborne more because I'm really into gothic shit, I'm really into Eldritch shit, I'm really into like fucking cool hunters with leather coats. And Hollow Knight doesn't have leather coats. Hollow Knight has like some tiny bit of gothic shit, some tiny bit of Eldritch shit. It mostly has like its own distinct aesthetic that I get why people would like a lot, but I just personally am not really into, because I'm not like really into cartoons and like that type of aesthetic and like Newground stuff. But like if you're into all of those things, then I get why I would like Hollow Knight more than Bloodborne. But to me, the gameplay in both is similarly good, even though I like platformers so much more generally. But in Bloodborne, the fucking just the timings, the attacks, it just feels so good to play. And same in Hollow Knight, I don't really have any like really strong criticisms of either game. Like with Bloodborne, my strongest criticism is that the cleric beast has way too much fucking HP for a starter boss, and you don't really have the right tools to beat it at the start if you haven't ever played like a Dark Souls game. So it's like, cleric beast I think is too strong to be a starter boss, but that's just my personal problem, because I really rely on like paying attention, noticing patterns, and that's really really hard to do on cleric beast because your camera gets fucked up if you lock onto it, right? You kinda don't see the differences between attacks. So cleric beast to me is not fun at all, and it's way too fucking hard. And I wish that was like I didn't have to play against cleric beast. Now the thing is, like, after cleric beast you fight like Father Gascoigne, right? And I fucking first tried Gascoigne because I was just like, okay, this is easy, I just dodge and shoot and just fucking. I took like genuinely like 6 hours to beat cleric beast and 1 try to beat Gascoigne. So that's my Bloodborne specifications, right? That's the way I play the game. I almost first tried Kerman at 10, but then I just lost, and then I couldn't get past because like he did the Reaper attack where he flies in there and then like sends a shockwave, and I didn't know what it was. I couldn't really dodge it. So that's how I lost like the first time, and then I got like really fucking tired because I can't really play games for a long time, and I was at the end of like a 3-hour play session or something. So it was like really really hard for me to play. So yeah, it took a while to beat Kerman at the end, but like I almost first tried him. So I'm gonna take my badge as an epic gamer who first tried Gascoigne and almost first tried Kerman. And yeah, that's my Bloodborne accolades. One boss I cheesed because I had like the summoned hunter body, because I wanted to see what he looks like, because you have like these places where you can like ring the bell and get like a cool guy to look at, basically, who doesn't usually do anything and just dies. But then I got one, and then I just like beat the boss, because I think the boss was supposed to attack me, and there was supposed to be like mechanics where like dodge attacks, but that really didn't come into play. But it seemed easy enough, so I don't really care. I think it was like Amelia or something. Not Amelia, it's some fucking the guy like the thing after the alien boss guy. I don't remember the names, but I fucking love Bloodborne. Also Hollow Knight, I have basically 106% I have 112% at Hollow Knight, right? I have 106% at Meatboy, which is basically the full completion you can get. But like, the one thing I haven't done in Hollow Knight is a Pantheon of the Hellenist, and I can beat every boss individually within the fucking Pantheon, but I just don't want to do the fucking spend the time to do the endurance thing. One of these days I'm gonna have Hollow Knight footage in Gamer Girl ASMR. Maybe that's when I beat the fucking Pantheon of Hellenist. I doubt it, but like I have gotten like I think I've gotten even like every fucking achievement other than that one. Like I've basically just full completed Hollow Knight, except I just can't be asked to do the Pantheon of the Hellenist. Like I've done Path of Pain, I've beaten Absolute Radiance, I've just done everything in the fucking game. Except I just don't like how much time it expects me to spend at the Hellenist Pantheon. because that's just kind of dumb. I wish it kind of like it was like I wish it didn't have like the double bosses where it has like both forms of a boss. I wish it only had like one for like the stronger form of the boss, because there's like no point in beating like easy bosses like 100% guaranteed to beat every time. So just like show me the harder version of the boss. Yeah, one like it kind of does bother me that I haven't full completed it when I'm like 62 out of 63 achievements. So I might just one day just do the benefit of Hellonist and just beat the game and just be done with it and never have to think about it again until Silksong comes out. Because I'm super hyped for Silksong actually, because it's going to be really, really fun to play Silksong. Because it's also before someone calls me a console fag, I got like Bloodborne through PS Now on PC, and that's like a streaming service, but it functions well enough. There's no like input delay, it's like considerable. It functions perfectly well. There's like no real issues for me, at least personally. So just get fucking PS Now and play Bloodborne. It's not that hard. Just fucking do it. But yeah, that's games. That's games. I am games. We're all games. We're collectively games. One of my least favourite things that YouTubers do is apologise for going on tangents, because I really like tangents. This podcast is entirely structured on topics that make me go on tangents. They're like unrelated to the topic, but like tangentially related, which is why they're tangents. I fucking love tangents. Tangents are great. But then like all of these YouTubers go like, oh, I'm sorry for going on a tangent. No, you shouldn't be sorry for going on a tangent. You should go like as many tangents as you can possibly go. Tangents are great. Because it's not like, oh, I want your laser focused view on this thing, because you're a fucking YouTuber, right? You're not a professor of like, I don't know, you're not like a professor of music science. So if you're talking about a song, please go on a tangent, because I'm here for your feelings, I'm here for your opinions. I'm not here to like learn about the specific song. I'm not here to learn about music science. I'm here to listen to you. And your tangent is probably going to be more interesting than whatever you were talking about in the original place, right? In the first place. So just go on tangents. Tangents are great. This is the Tangents cast. This is a pro-tangent environment. But like, funnily enough, I can't really think about any tangents to go on right now, so I wish I could go on a tangent right now, but I have to talk about a completely unrelated thing. So let's talk about Devilman Crybaby, which is one of my favorite anime, and it turns out it's directed by the same studio that did Eizouken, which is my favorite anime, even though I haven't finished it. Once I finish Eizouken, I can confidently state that like it completely changed my perspective on anime, but it's already my favorite anime. I just can't watch it fast because it just keeps blowing my mind. But it is my favorite anime insofar as it's the anime that I have enjoyed the most, even though I haven't finished it yet. So yeah, so Devilman Crybaby is great. So I also need to watch Ping Pong, because it's also by the same studio. So I need to go watch Ping Pong eventually too. But yeah, I really love Devilman Crybaby. I really love how like a lot of people like whine about this, but the fact that it sets up all of these characters just to kill them is the best. It's so good that it sets up like all of these characters only in order for them to be killed, right? You have like the guy who makes like the rap, who's just like, he was killed off screen and all you see is the corpse, and you're shown that he's killed by the woman who he fell in love with and who was reciprocated, and because he got to like be together, he was killed by that woman when she turned into a demon, right? That's such a fucking good narrative, because like you can see him from the start as like having like this passion for rapping, right? He has like this passion for music, and he uses that music to like advance himself in life by making music for the woman who he loves, right? And then he just ends up getting killed off screen as if he was insignificant, because that's the point of Devilman Crybaby. It's like everyone is kind of insignificant, right? No matter what happens to you, there are forces way stronger than you. So even if you're like Lucifer and you win, right? When you don't really win, you get convinced by humans that humans are worth violent, and you end up killing all the humans. So Lucifer didn't really win, but Lucifer kinda won, right? So even if you're Lucifer and you win, God will still like erase the earth, and you'll have to wait for like millions of years until the earth like regrows and there's something else. So there's no winning in Devilman Crybaby. There's always like these powers outside your control, and those powers are outside your control don't win either, because you don't really have any sense of like victory or loss. They're completely inhuman entities with no bearing on like what it means to win or lose. They just exist as absolutes, right? So there's no winning in Devilman Crybaby. It's always people are like subject to like the powers outside their control, right? So like it's not like, oh hey, people died because of like the devil fucking breakout. No, that's not when people died. A lot of people died because of it, but a lot of people also died because of the chaos that ensued, and like the social like dictatorships, right, and the discrimination that ensued. A lot of people died from that too. It's not just like that people died because they were devils, right? People died because they were other people. People died because other people couldn't like figure out how to be humans, right? And the only person who figured out to be a human, I have a shitty memory for names, I can't remember any names. The main guy was the only human who really figured out to be a human, and he was able to do that by being like first a real human, right, and then being a half devil. So he understood the perspective of the devils, which was, it turned out to be necessary for understanding of how to be human, because that means that he was able to like empathize with the devils, because he himself was like halfway a devil, the devil man, right? He was not just a man, he was a devil man. And being a devil man, having like that kind of freedom and being able to have like that kind of empathy made him more human than any other human. And he was able to like lead the devil man, he was able to convince people that even if they're devils, but he was able to like empathize with the devils. So he was able to create like the best for humanity. But it still wasn't enough, because it still wasn't like just powerful enough, right? It was like this giant conflict that you only saw in like absurd moments, right? You only saw as like vignettes of like war, right? You didn't even see the actual conflict. You only saw like the image of the conflict, and then you saw how he lost and Lucifer won. But then like Lucifer, like only in like a strict sense, because Lucifer lost both to God and to himself, because he did not like, he was not ready for what winning meant, right? He was not willing to give up on humans, but he just had to, because that was his nature. Lucifer's nature was to incite like devils to like take over the world, right? Because that's just who he is. Except that just had the consequences of removing the only thing he cared about, even though he wasn't able to care about anything, as demonstrated countless times. He did not place any value on human life, he didn't place any value on like anything other than the main character, who in turn placed value on humans. So Lucifer couldn't really like win no matter what he did, because he could either go against his nature, or he could like or he could go with his nature and just lose everything he cared about, and like it was just impossible to choose anything else. So in Devilman Crybaby, everything was fucked from the start. There was never any winning scenario, right? There was never a way in Devilman Crybaby for there to be a good end, and that's why I really like it. It's just so completely hopeless, and I like hopeless things. I really like hopeless things. And there are like a lot of cool thematic parallels in Devilman Crybaby. There's a lot of cool stuff in Devilman Crybaby. We don't really want to talk about all of this, because I have other stuff that I want to talk about that I'm sure I will never get a chance to talk about in like any formal way. So let's talk about Shiguroi, which is another like trippy like psychedelic, I guess, even in a way, but like just like this absurd, this like samurai manga, right? It's predicated because it's just like a revenge story, I guess. It's like a rivalry. It's just the story itself doesn't really matter in Shiguroi. What matters are the images of the story. It's completely conveyed within like themes, right? It's kind of like Technolize. Where the actual story is just a conduit to show you pictures, right? And in Shiguroi, the actual story is just a conduit to show you some really fucking violent and sexual pictures, right? It just shows you like the worst and like the most like base parts of humanity, right? It's just like a manga about human instincts and like human pride and how that fucks everything up, basically. Except nothing is really fucked up on like a grand scale, because on like the grand scale there was no way to like make it influence anything anyway, right? On like a big scale, nothing that happens matters. It's not like a war story, right? It's set during peacetime, where the only way that samurai can fight is if other samurai and other practitioners of like martial arts, right? The only conflict is self-created conflict, right? So there's not like this grand conflict to win or lose. It's just like personal stories, and all of those personal stories are just like inevitably have to end up in a loss, because there's like no way to like have like this absurd cycle of violence end up in anyone winning. But I really like stories like this. I know I need to watch Evangelion just because it has like a conclusion that I would appreciate. But like every time I try to watch Eva, I just get bored. So sometimes I just need to like sit down and watch Eva because like it has like this really like otaku sensibilities which are like I don't really like, because as described in something else, my taste is like the bad bitch taste, and Eva is the opposite of that. I can't really fuck with Eva that well. But like, it is how it is. I'm gonna watch Eva, and I'm sure I'll appreciate like end of Eva, I guess. I don't know how much I like the actual show, but I'm pretty sure I'll like really enjoy the ending. But it's kind of been like, for me, it's like hipster cred that I don't like Eva, because all of the like normie hipsters, all of the common hipsters like Eva, they're like, oh, like I'm sophisticated, I like Eva, so I want to be like, oh, I'm more sophisticated than you, so I don't like Eva. But I have figured out the way to be the most hipster is to like Eva for like the right reasons, which is to be like an enlightened Eva bag, right? We just like Eva without being like, oh, this is like deep Christian symbolism. We can be like, okay, so this is like a deep commentary on what Christian symbolism means to Japanese people or whatever. Like that's the kind of level of Eva that I want to be. And like I just wanna be like an enlightened hipster, right? Where I don't fall into like the normie hipster trappings. Then I just don't fall into like the step above the normie hipster trappings, so I can just get into like the ultimate hipster mindset where I can just like all the fucking cool things for the right reasons. So that's my goal with Eva. That's my goal with Eva. So yeah, and the last piece of media that I really want to talk about, because I could talk about more media, but I don't really want to make this into like, oh, this is like the Dudes Discuss This Media podcast, because I think media is like a nice spice for this cast, right? I think media is like a nice thing to spice up the podcast, but I don't think it should be the focus, right? But like the last thing I want to talk about is Holy Land, which is an excellent manga. So Shiguro is both an anime and a manga, and I've heard that anime is good, so you can just watch anime, but Holy Land is exclusively manga only. And it's excellent, it's so good. Holy Land is basically like a narrative about like what it means to find your place in the world, right? And and if you like find your place, you have to like defend it. And it has like this like really like real feeling depiction of like street fights, basically, where the manga isn't about like, oh, this is like an organized discipline martial arts manga, like a lot of martial arts manga are, because it is fundamentally martial arts manga. It doesn't have any like meaningful distinctions when it comes to narrative from martial arts manga, right? It has the same storylines. However, the martial art in question is just street fighting, which is so much fucking cooler. But the manga itself is basically just a series of street fights and like a discussion of what it means for young people to find their place in the world, because that's like a really difficult thing to do for like a lot of people. So the manga itself is kind of like a discussion on like what it means to like exist in a world that rejects you, and like what it means to find challenges and overcome them, and like what do you have to leave behind when you grow up, and all that stuff. It's a really good manga. I really like it and recommend it. Holy Land is really good. It's just a nice manga. Now I can't really recommend the art style, because you get used to it, but then you go back and you go like, yeah, I did get used to it when I was reading it, but it looks like bad Surasura children, right? that's what the art style looks like. It just looks like bad Surasura children, I think. Wait, was it Surasura children or was it the other thing? It looks like one of the, I think it's Surasura children. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. Like the aesthetic is fitting for the story. It's just doesn't look pretty, like in any sense of the word. It doesn't have to look pretty, because it's not like discussing pretty things. So it's fine how it is. Let's talk about schizoid personality disorder, because I'm pretty sure I have it. Well, there are two types of schizoid personality, right? There's the overt schizoid, which is like the classic schizoid personality disorder, right? Which is where you're like a completely like you're a person who doesn't really have the aptitude to talk to other people, right? And you just like kind of want to be alone all the time, and you don't really have any interest in like sex. You don't really have any interest in like relationships in general. Now, not to be like a armchair psychiatrist or whatever, because I think that's a completely valid thing to do, but I don't think that's like like it's still being a brain cop, right? Like I think if anyone's gonna be a brain cop, everyone should be a brain cop. like then there's also like it's just slapping a label on someone. But like if you want to like an example of someone who acts like an overt someone with like an overt schizoid personality disorder, you can look at like No Thank You, right? He's a really cool guy, and he displays like a lot of like the symptoms of like overt schizoid personality disorder, which I think is really cool. I think it's like the coolest personality disorder. I think everyone should be schizoid. Like it's just the best. It's just the best personality disorder. But yeah, I personally have like, or I have the characteristics of covert schizoid personality disorder, which is where you act like a functional person in any way, like in every way, where you can like have conversations, you can like keep friends to like a certain extent, you're like interested in like relationships and sex, right? But like you don't really connect that deeply with like people. So the thing is, like, I don't think any of this is bad. I think connecting with people is like way fucking overrated. But like I feel like I connect with people like just the right amount. Like I can like appreciate people as humans, and that's all I need. I don't need to have like this like I want like one person to like connect on like a really 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 deep level, but everyone else is just like, hey, I'm really happy to be around you because I really like you as a human, and I can be like around you, and that's enough for me. Like I don't need anything more. And even in those cases, I'm more than happy to keep it online. Like I don't really feel the need to be like, oh, let's like move in together so we can hang out all the time in real life. Like I don't feel any compulsion like that. It's just like, hey, I can talk to you online every day, and that's way more than fucking enough for me. I probably would not enjoy like living with most of the people who I really like online. I know some people I would really enjoy living with, but like most people online, I don't really have a drive to live with them. But like it's like I don't feel like that's necessary. And the classic thing that like schizoid personality people do in like the modern day is just spending their time online in chat rooms, because you're not like antisocial, they don't like hate people, but like what they want to keep people like a normal distance, like, but like I think that's like the best way to be. Like I think people should be like at a healthy distance, and I think chat rooms are the best way to keep a distance like that. So it's like I'm fine with spending my entire life on chat rooms, right? I'm completely fine with that. That's perfect for me. Because like I think ultimately what it comes down to is schizoid personality is just like you don't really have like dopamine when you're interacting with people in real life, which is why it like really confuses me when people really like want to interact with me in real life. Like when my family is like, hey, show up at this like event, or I'm just confused because I don't know why you would want me at that event, because I'm not gonna contribute anything to it. So in my mind it's like, oh, there's no point of me being in that event. And the same goes for like literally every formal event, like graduations, like fucking whatever the fuck. It's like I don't get anything from these things. So I always thought that people pretended that they were like necessary or important, but now I realize that people actually get like dopamine from seeing a bunch of people together, right? People get dopamine when they see like, oh, there are a bunch of people gathered here together for like the same purpose, to like celebrate something. That's really cool. Oh, there are these specific people who I connect to in this event, like doing the same thing. Oh, I get a lot of dopamine from it, right? Like I don't have any of that. I don't understand how people have any of that, and it's so weird for me. Maybe it's just autism. It could literally just be autism, right? That's also a completely valid answer. But like, it doesn't really matter, all of these things, like none of these things are real. It's just like, oh, you have a specific autism condition, right? It's just some specific symptoms that we just categorize because they tend to appear together, right? That's mental illness. That's like the entire mental health system. It's like, hey, let's like pick out these systems that like happen together a lot of the time, and let's assume that they're like one thing, because they're just things that people feel, that some people feel all at once, and you can notice patterns, but those patterns should only be used to like help people understand what they're feeling, not the fucking deep brain cop shit. But like, that's just fucked up. I mean, I'm just getting mad. But yeah, that's just how it goes. But yeah, anyway, I think it's like a really cool thing actually, like overall, because I think people socialize way too much. People have like a way too strong of a degree of like conditioning to socialize. Like you don't need to interact with other people to like any extent near what people do right now, right? People should not like feel compelled to engage in mass society. School is too much fucking people. Social media is too much fucking people. The internet in general is too much fucking people, right? And you should not like have that. You should not have like your social drive turned against you. in like a world where that just fucks you up, right? Because like any mass society institution is just harmful for you. Like going to fucking festivals or fucking social media, that's not how you're supposed to function. That's not how humans are supposed to function. Like it's just you're getting socialized way too much, and that's bad. That's not something you should strive for. You should strive for like a reasonable degree of socializing, and like a limited engagement with society that like appeals to your own basic needs instead of like going way the fuck out of your control. So I think ultimately like what people call schizoid personality is just like a defense mechanism against like the fact that everything is just like over fucking socialized, right? And like it's just like the barrier of what people think is over socialized. Because like ultimately it would be the best if people did not have like the drive to socialize with more people than they needed to. But I think it's ultimately better that people have a tribe to socialize with like a very limited amount of people instead of having like no tribe to socialize with anyone at all. Because I think that's just better, right? And this schizoid personality, like the tribe to socialize with people, is like you want to socialize online and you want to connect to like one specific person maybe, and that specific person who you want to connect to usually also has the schizoid personality, right? So like there's an absurd pattern where two people who have all of the characteristics of schizoid personality just like kind of hang out all of the time and have like a lot of fun together, right? I would really like to be in a relationship with someone who had schizoid personality disorder, because I think that would be a really fun time, because neither of us would care about like literally any society. Like it won't have to live in the society. God, I want to fucking talk about the Joker. I'm gonna fucking talk about the Joker. Joker posting is the new Bane posting, in that it will never get old. Joker posting will last forever. In 10 years, I will go, and I'm tired of pretending I'm not, and it's still gonna be fucking great, because Bane posting is still great. If someone says, you're a big guy, and you don't say, for you have failed as a human being, because Bane posting is eternal, Joker posting is eternal. You can just go like, oh, you're awful, Murray, it's fucking great, because the Joker is a great movie. When I saw the Joker, that was like the short period in my life where I smoked, right? So I could just watch the Joker, go outside, have a cigarette. That was fucking amazing. That was like the most appropriate place to smoke in the history of the universe, like under a fucking bridge after watching the Joker. That was fucking great. That was a phenomenal experience. So yeah, the Joker, great movie. I really like the Joker. Like it shouldn't be a meme, because it's just genuinely great. Like, okay, it's not as good as Taxi Driver. It's not as good as The Comedian or whatever that fucking movie's called. It's not as good as either of the Scorsese movies, but it's the best movie that came out this decade, at least I think, in my opinion. So I think it's great. I think it's a really good movie, and the memes just make it better, because the memes make everything fucking better. So also other movies. I want to talk about movies. Blade Runner 2049. I think I've talked about Blade Runner. But yeah, I think both Blade Runner movies are good. I prefer 2049 because I just think that's like more impactful imagery. So I just like that one more. And I guess I don't want to go on an entire movie related tangent, so I'm just cutting it off right here. But yeah, the Joker is good. You should watch the Joker if you haven't. You can get it for free on many torrent sites. Oh, torrenting. Tangent cast is back. So torrenting. Everyone should fucking torrent. If you're fucking illegally streaming, you're just fucking wrong. You're just making the wrong decision for no reason. You torrent everything. You can torrent everything. You should torrent everything. You need to torrent everything. Just choose a game and be like, hey, I want to play this game. I'm gonna go to like the fucking Fit Girl Repacks or whatever site. I'm gonna torrent it. I wanna watch an anime. I'm gonna go to nya.c. I wanna watch a movie. I'm just gonna torrent it somewhere else. It's just torrent things. Just torrenting is great. Torrenting is fantastic. Now you should, if you like really like a game, you should buy it. I have done it before multiple times. I torrent the game to like check it out, then I buy it because I'm like, oh hey, I really like this game. I'm gonna buy this game. That's just how it works. Torrenting is like a free sample, right? If you really like something, then you should support it. But like, especially if it's an indie thing, because if it's a fucking mass corporation, who cares? Fuck them. But like, if it's an indie thing, like fucking, if you really like an indie movie, just fucking buy it, right? If you like an indie game, buy it. If you like an anime, you should buy the fucking merch or whatever if you want to support the anime industry. It's just fucking. Or if you want to support animators, support like the Patreon thing where the animator collective just fucking gets Patreon money to support animators. Support that actually. Go fucking support that instead of fucking buying merch or whatever. So like you can support things in various ways, and torrenting just lets you experience art. Torrenting is just a library that you can loot. It's a lootable library. It's fucking great, and people go, oh, libraries pay fucking artists. Yeah, libraries are fucking scammed that fucking function based on subsidies and late fees. They're completely like out of date and should be replaced by torrenting. I like libraries. Oh, if you want to torrent books, you can go to bookzz.org. Or you can go to any library genesis, whatever the fucking current URL for library genesis is, leapcan.io or chen.lib.trust.ec or something. One of those. Just go on Genesis library, go on bookzz, and just get yourself fucking infinite books. Get yourself the entire fucking knowledge of the human fucking species, right? You can just torrent everything. It's fantastic. It's great. Torrenting is the fucking best thing ever. Like, if you really like a book, buy it, have it on your bookshelf, show it off. It's decoration. Or if you just want to read a book in paper, you can just buy a book, right? That's a different consideration altogether. But like, it's great. Torrenting is fantastic. I fucking love torrenting. Everyone should torrent as much as they fucking can. And like, we should completely move away from like the model of like monetized art, right? You should fucking move to like a model of like monetized artists, because it's like, oh, that's too much alienation. Yeah, I like alienation. Just monetize yourself. Make yourself someone who people want to pay to keep alive, so you keep making art that they can see for free. For me, that's the best way. Or just do commission systems. That's also good. Art should be available for free to everyone, and that's the greatest thing ever. And I love humanity for that. That we just can torrent. Torrenting is the best invention of humanity ever. Torrent everything. You can own the file of whatever you torrent. When you buy an ebook, you have DRM. You don't fucking own the file. You have access to that file on like one platform. You don't actually own the file. Same with fucking movies, same with fucking TV shows. If you torrent, you have the file. You have the file for yourself. It's like completely unlike streaming. It's completely unlike fucking buying things from like really shitty things. You fucking own the file. The file is yours to do as you wish. That's the greatest thing ever. That's the greatest thing. I like files. I like having files. But yeah, that's my impassioned rant on torrenting. So now this is the final topic I had written down at the start of the Gamer Girl ASMR episode 2. I have one more topic, and then it's just all free for me if I decide to keep going. Because what ended up happening is in like Gamer Girl ASMR episode 2, I went through like half of the list, and then I was like, oh, I have the other half left, and I want to talk, I want to keep going, so I'm gonna tackle the other half, and I reached the end of this. So now this is my final topic, which is quarantine gave me genuine agoraphobia. I can't stand being outside anymore at all. Like, I get genuinely scared of being outside. Like, if I'm forced to be outside, I just go like, man, this is fucking awful. I need to go back inside as quick as possible. This never used to happen. I always used to be like comfortable outside, even though like I had like anxiety and shit. Like, being outside itself wasn't a problem, and I didn't like really get people who like always need to like be inside and who can't stand being outside. But right now I can't fucking stand being outside anymore. I can't explain it. It's just like quarantine made like the outside world into like a dangerous place, right, for me. So it's like, okay, now the outside world is like a dangerous place. And now, like, I that didn't stop even though the quarantine ended, right? It's like, okay, the outside world is not really a dangerous place anymore, but I'm so scared of it. I wasn't scared of fucking getting corona, for the record. I was scared of giving other people corona. That was my fear. Like, I don't want to fucking be responsible for someone dying, right? I'm fine if I get corona. I'm young. I can survive. I don't think it's actually like a threat to me personally. But I don't want to fucking kill someone by giving them corona. So that's just a thing. Now, I think I already had corona, and I think it gave me like bronchitis. I think that's the extent of what corona did to me. But like, it's not sure because I can't be certain because I didn't get tested for corona. But all I know is that I don't really have the signs of corona or like pneumonia on my X-rays. But yeah, I can't fucking go outside anymore. I can't fucking go outside. I don't really like. I just get scared. I just get so scared when I'm outside. And not only do I have this like agoraphobia, right? I'm also feeling myself becoming an incel. I'm feeling myself becoming like actually like jealous at people in relationships. Not my friends, because I'm happy for my friends, right? But like I'm genuinely becoming like an agoraphobic incel. Like, my entire life is just like a trajectory that leads towards being sought after from NHK. I'm gonna make a visual novel. I'm gonna I don't know, I'm just gonna be Sato. I'm gonna have panic attacks when I go back to school or whatever. I'm literally just going to approximate Sato as time goes on. Like, I think that's Smite's law. I will always keep becoming more like Sato no matter what direction my life goes. All roads lead to being Sato, because Sato is who my default state is, I guess. I mean, that's not really true. I think I'm more Misaki than Sato, so it's like I might also, all roads also might lead to me being Misaki. So that's all. I don't know if we've talked about this on much. I definitely have. But yeah, I'm basically like, the characters I relate the most are Sato and Misaki from NHK. But like, that's not it anymore, because I watch more anime because of my Classics Cast project. Now I also really relate to Lane, especially because I think Lane has like a lot of the same traits I do, and especially Kanamori now, because Kanamori has like a lot of behaviors I do, but I've already talked about all of this. This is just retreading gold ground. Why the fuck am I talking about this? Oh yeah, because I'm drunk. Let's talk about being drunk. Let's talk about alcohol. I never get so drunk that I like black out or like completely lose control. One time I like kind of blacked out, which was like the first time I got really drunk, but I was like, I doubt that was because of the alcohol. That was mostly because like I just didn't really do anything, so I have like a really vague recollection that's like only the things like that mattered that happened, right? Because I didn't really know how to be drunk at that time. Then other than that, there's other, like, I can get as drunk as I get, but I never like do things that like I don't have control over. Like I might not be able to like walk straight, but I generally have like a control over the things I say. Like, the world might be spinning and I might feel like I'm throwing up and I might be stuck in bed, but I still have like control over the things I do and say, and I don't forget those things happening. So it's like, I don't know how people get drunk and do things they can't control. Like, that's not something I can really like relate to on like any deep level. Because for me, I get drunk and I do things and I'm like pretty much in control of them, right? I'm pretty much in control of the things I do when I'm drunk. But it's like, I know that most people aren't. I know that this is like just like a weird thing for me, and I don't know. There's really not like any downsides to alcohol for me, which just primes me towards alcoholism. But if there aren't any downsides, then I don't really care, right? Because why should I avoid alcoholism if there aren't any like downsides to being an alcoholic, right? Why should I go out of my way to avoid doing something because other people might be bad at doing it, right? If I'm good at drinking, if I don't have bad consequences when I'm drinking, why should I necessarily avoid drinking, right? That doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you. Maybe you can explain it like, oh, it's like unhealthy and whatever. But like that like would require that I care about being healthy and that I care about like, oh, like this like arbitrary concept of health. Because like health is an arbitrary concept. It's just like why would I care when I die? Like why would I care? Like, I don't know. It's just for me that doesn't matter. That might be short-sighted, but I don't think it is. I think it's like way more short-sighted to be like, oh, when I'm like 60 years old, I want to keep living for another 40 years, right? So you don't live from fucking 20 to 60, right? So you just fucking forsake your ability to live in, like, when you have like actually good years, because you think that when your fucking life gets worse and you get old, you'll want to live more. Like, I don't get that sort of mentality at all. I just don't get the sort of mentality where it's like, oh, you should work when you're young so you can live when you're older without having to work, right? Like, if I could make a choice, I wouldn't fucking work at all from like until I'm like fucking 40. Then I could fucking work when I'm like 40 to 80, right? That's such a better like organizational method, because fuck my life when I'm 40 to 80. Like, it matters way less to me than my life until I'm like fucking 40, right? So it's like I don't get retirement. I don't get why you would want to like have your best, oh, your most 3 years of your life when you're fucking old, because you're fucking old at that point. Like, nothing against old people per se, even though like old people right now fall into like many bad tendencies across the world. Like, over here in Europe, we have all the fucking post-Soviet old people who are basically not human because that's what the Soviet Union taught you how to like act. And then in the US, you have all of the fucking boomers who are like similarly like maladjusted, like living in a world, right? So it's like, old people right now fucking suck, but that doesn't mean all old people throughout all time have to suck, right? It just means that there's like a generation, like nobody old, and all were fucking annoying when they're young. Like, do you think boomers were like not fucking annoying when they're young? All of them were annoying. They were either some fucking fake hippies or like some fucking like, just like fucking bootlickers, right? Obviously there are some like cool old people, right, and who were cool when they were younger, but like that's not the majority, right? And I think that's like an important thing to realize, is that like all of these fucking boomers weren't good people when they were younger. all these fucking post-Soviet old people weren't like actual humans when they were younger. They're just more humans before the conditioning fully set in, right? So it's not that being old is bad. It's just like that right now the generations who are old were like grew up during times where it was like really bad to be a human. Yeah, I think this is the end of the podcast because I'm kind of out of topics and I don't need to stretch it. So this is Gamer Girl ASMR episode 3. Go watch episode 2 if you haven't. Go watch episode 1. Go watch my Minecraft videos. And yeah, that's it. See ya, guys.